Okay. So, as if Sony couldn't get any more ridiculous, I found this article on Niche Gamer. This was posted yesterday, actually. And the headline reads Sony didn't warn partners before physical game cuts. So basically, they were just like, we're just going to go ahead and stop it. I guess you guys will have to figure it out. All right, so let's go on. So it says Sony's decision in production of physical game disc for new PlayStation releases beginning in 2028 reportedly came as a surprise not only to consumers but also to publishers, business partners, and even some of the company's own regional offices. So they just didn't say it. We're like, we're just gonna do it. Yeah, no big deal. We don't have to tell anybody.
Nobody tells me nothing.
No one needs to know this, right? According to a report from High Chaos Run, citing anonymous sources familiar with Sony's plans, the decision was made internally and communicated publicly without prior notice to any external partners. Sony has not publicly commented on these claims. Yeah, because they're too busy posting about a fighting game stick. They're like, hey, we're not going to make any more physical discs. Oh, by the way, go ahead and buy our stuff. Several sources reportedly described the move as a unilateral decision, with publishers learning about the end of physical media at the same time as the public. Isn't that always great? They're like, were you going to say anything or just, apparently Sony doesn't understand communication. Despite our seemingly close working relationship with PlayStation, we weren't informed that this was happening. One executive at a major AAA publisher reportedly told the outlet, it's only hitting us now that we may be out of jobs sooner rather than later. Ow. Really, Sony? The report also claims that the lack of communication extended beyond publishing partners. Regional PlayStation offices were allegedly unaware of the announcement before it was published, creating confusion in markets where physical retail expansion was still underway. One example cited involves PlayStation India, where local teams were reportedly negotiating with distributors and investors to establish up to 100 dedicated PlayStation retail stores by 2028. Man, can you imagine you're working on this deal thinking everything in the background's fine, and all of a sudden Sony comes along and just goes, nope. Why would we even work with PlayStation, let alone invest on a store when they won't be selling disc? One investor replied, said, yeah, that's kind of a logical question. PlayStation India didn't even tell us this was happening before it went public. They didn't know either. While the report claims that there has been private frustration among publishers, no major publishing partner has publicly criticized Sony's decision. They're not going to. They're not going to do that. Are you kidding me? They're not going to just come out and it's bad form for them to do that, honestly. But at the same time, it's a hand that feeds them to a certain extent. So of course they're not going to say anything. I think they should, personally. Until someone like EA or, Activision or someone else just comes out and says something, yeah, Sony's just going to be like, man, we do what we want. Screw you guys. Sources cited by High Chaos Run allege that conversations with PlayStation have become strained following the announcement, although these claims have not been independently verified. They don't need to be verified. I can imagine the yelling and screaming that's going on behind the scenes. So this is just another example of, honestly, PlayStation just dropping the ball really hard. How are you not going to tell people that you work with that you're going to make a major decision like this? It's just like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They'll figure it out. They don't have to know, right? All this money being moved around in the background, all these business wheeling and dealing that's going on. They don't need to know this big, important decision we're about to drop on everybody. I wish I could understand the mindset of these top executives, but I don't think I can fit my head that far up my ass to really have that point of view. So I guess there's that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. How Sony's handling all of this is just outright ridiculous. They're not even addressing the concerns. They're just telling people to go ahead and buy more peripherals and fighting game sticks, I guess. They just don't care. And so here's the thing: if PlayStation don't care, if Sony don't care, then like, how are they expecting everyone else to care? I don't know. I guess I don't get paid the big bucks to know that stuff. So, all right, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. And we'll see you guys next video. Peace out, guys.